we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. In other words, they charge us, we charge them.
Tariff war between Washington and Beijing. China retaliated, applying its own 34% tariff on the United States.
China slapping a new tariff on the United States, raising the tax on American goods 125%.
President Trump says he can't imagine he'd have to raise tariffs on China further, and he has no concerns of any escalations in relations beyond trade.
On top of a 10% tariff on Chinese goods imposed in February, plus another 10% in March, plus 34% announced last week, he's just threatened an additional 50%.
People put so much value into owning original luxury brands.
I have a bodysuit from Mugler for $540. I'm gonna layer this Balenciaga hoodie that cost me $1,250. Your Jordans, which resell for $10,000.
Owning an authentic Rolex or a genuine Hermes bag is seen as the epitome of wealth and class. It's a status symbol, a sign that you've made it. But if you buy a knockoff or a fake, you're just a wannabe, someone pretending to live a lifestyle they can't afford.
Open it up. Oh, gorgeous. I've never seen
basically these charms, we don't really do them in regular bags.
Yeah.
But what if the line between real and fake isn't as clear as you've been led to believe?
There are the videos seen by millions of Americans. TikTokers claiming to work at Chinese factories that make high-end products and offering to sell them directly to Americans for much, much cheaper.
What if that $38,000 Hermes Birkin bag, the one that's supposed to represent exclusivity and craftsmanship, actually costs just $1,400 to make in a Chinese factory?
More than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China, but those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that.
What if the entire luxury industry is built on a carefully crafted illusion? An illusion that depends on the secrecy of the workers who actually make these products. The ones stitching the bags, cutting the leather, and assembling the pieces in factories half a world away. But what happens when those same workers decide they've had enough? When they start speaking out, exposing the truth behind the luxury brands you thought you knew?
Turns out your quote-unquote made in Italy luxury handbag might have more ties to Chinese factories than to Tuscany.
Who are the suppliers behind Lululemon? Some of their yoga wears are actually from Xianglong Clothing and Huangqisheng Clothing. And guess what? Both factories located in Yiwu here.
They are most popular among European customers, especially this style, which looks like Balenciaga, right? It's very popular among...
Why now? Because they're angry. Angry about the new US tariffs that are cutting into their already small paychecks. Angry at European brands making billions while they get paid next to nothing. So they're flipping the script. They're going around the brands, selling directly to Americans, online.
Louis Vuitton have many Chinese suppliers, but they just don't admit it. 50% of the Louis Vuitton bag are from these two places.
Their message? You've been lied to.
Do you recognize this bag? Of course you do. From some boutique, right? It costs around $28,000. But if you get it from an outside factory, you can get it for less than 1/20th of that price.
Let us show you the truth.
Wholesalers, it's 2024 and you still don't know who are the suppliers behind Dior? Their knitwears and cardigans are from Beyond Garments from Hangzhou.
Does Lululemon have OEM factories in China? Of course, yes. Xianglong Apparel, Huangqisheng Clothing. Both of them are in Yiwu City. They supply a lot of yoga suits with good materials and high quality for Lululemon. But the cost is only $5 to $10.
Is this just a social media stunt? Or is it the start of a global shakeup that could take down the luxury industry? Now that the truth is out, what will consumers do about it?
It's been 2 weeks since Liberation Day and we're in a full-blown trade war with China.
China is digging in. Americans are waking up to a whole new escalation in the global trade war.
This didn't come out of nowhere. It started years ago, during the US trade war with China. Back then, President Trump added new tariffs. These made goods from China and other Asian countries more expensive. The goal was to punish China for its trade policies. But the impact hit everywhere, including the luxury world.
player in this space, a bit of a barometer when it comes to luxury.
Overall, the results were negative, and crucially, the key fashion and leather goods units was down 5%. That was much worse than expected. And in terms of geographies, China is the region where it's hurting the most.
For decades, European brands have relied on outsourcing. They send production to China and other Asian countries where labor is cheaper. It's a dirty secret that luxury brands don't talk about. Here's what most people don't know. These brands sell those same items to US shoppers at sky-high prices, all while paying their workers just a few dollars a day. No credit, no recognition, just long hours and small paychecks.
Something simple like a t-shirt is 1 to 2 yuan per piece, and I can make around a dozen in an hour. We earn so little, how is that enough? The cost of living is now so high.
Meanwhile, these same luxury brands have always prided themselves on being the pinnacle of quality, claiming their products are superior to knockoffs and replicas. But the reality is, many of these so-called originals are being made in the same factories, by the same workers, using the same materials as the counterfeits they claim to despise.
How to buy Givenchy, Chanel, Dior cosmetics for $10? Just remove the logo. Buy directly from manufacturing factories of these brands. China's cosmetic exports account for 42% of the world.
A luxury bag costs around 500 retail, but you can get the same quality here for $50 to $100. Imagine the markup.
Why does it matter now? Because the new tariffs cut into their already low wages.
Workers take shifts rotating from their workstations, operating 24 hours a day to produce electronic parts, which are in our phones, laptops, etc.
Most have only 1 day off a month. And by the door, the end product, ready to be shipped to Europe, the UK, or the US.
These workers saw brands getting richer while their lives stayed the same. Then, something changed. With social media in their hands, they found a voice. They started posting videos, calling out brands, exposing the truth. They revealed that luxury goods are often made in Asia, not Europe. But here's what's strange. They didn't act alone. These posts came fast. They came all at once. And they were organized. Was this just a group of angry workers finally speaking up? Or was something, or someone, helping them plan it? A few weeks after the factory videos went viral, something big happened. China announced a ban on the export of rare earth magnets to the US. If you've never heard of rare earth magnets, they're in everything. Electric cars, wind turbines, phones, even missile systems. This move shook entire industries.
How reliant is the United States on these materials?
Very. This is a key input in your phones, in defense technology. Gallium and germanium, these are two of the materials that China has said, we are not going to sell these to the United States anymore. We get over 50% of what we use from China.
Was China just protecting itself from unfair US trade rules? Or was this a warning? A way to hit America where it hurts? By cutting off a key supply? Then, something even stranger happened. Some of the TikTok accounts that first shared the factory stories went silent. Just gone. Others posted cryptic messages. Short, mysterious. One said, "We spoke too soon." Another said, "They're watching now." What did that mean? Were they being threatened? Were the luxury companies trying to shut them down? Or was someone else, maybe inside their own group, pulling the strings? These videos blew up right as trade tensions were heating up, which raises another possibility. Could the Chinese government be involved? Not directly, but maybe quietly encouraging the spread of these videos. They've used economic tactics before, like export bans and tariff retaliation, to push back against Western pressure. Could this be a more subtle form of pushback, designed to hurt Western brands without firing a single shot?
Watches to jewelry to fashion, even supercars, China is now making its own luxury products.
First one, Nike.
Yeah, Nike. These ones are nice too.
It's great color.
And what's the price?
How about like this?
And now, with some of the original voices going silent, it's clear that someone out there doesn't want this story to keep spreading. Now that the smoke is clearing, the big question remains: what really happened here? The videos felt real, honest, raw. A behind-the-scenes look at an industry built on image and price tags. They exposed a truth that most people never see: the real cost of luxury.
So now, to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo.
Lululemon sells this jacket for nearly $100, but here it only costs you $6 to $5.
$10, and $10. Always $10.
China, China, China. Get your LED sign with factory price in China. Who doesn't like a shiny gold LED sign?
One thing is certain: this moment exposed something we can't unsee. Behind every $10,000 handbag is a system. A system built on cheap labor, global trade deals, and carefully crafted illusions. And it only took a few brave posts to pull back the curtain. Whether this was a real rebellion or part of a hidden war, one thing is clear: the luxury world will never look the same again. Now, the power is in our hands, the consumers. We've seen how the system works. We know what's behind the price tags. So the final question is, now that you know the truth, what are you going to do with it?